aware there are going to be spoilers in this video. Some light, some large, some life-altering apparently. So, if you break out in hives and fits of rage on Twitter and in the comment sections of videos, be aware, stay safe. There may be spoilers in this video. If you all would, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. All the love and support helps. Like the video, share it around, tell your friends, tell your family if they're into this kind of stuff, if they're into someone with a varied media diet, as far as like somebody who likes video games and animation and does art tutorials, and tell them about my channel. I really appreciate it. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? I hope everybody's having a good night, staying safe, being healthy, staying in. I wanted to do my thoughts on this Inside Final Fantasy VII Remake Episode 2 Story and Characters video that Square-Enix put out. These are fascinating. I want to start that off and just say these are fascinating. I think these are great. They're very well done. I'm really excited about the content they're bringing with these documentary style videos on this, because it really gives you insight into where the creators are coming from with their mindset and what they're thinking, what they were thinking 23 plus years ago and what they're thinking now when they're developing this new take on the story or this remake. This starts off with Yoshinori Kitase talking to the people about the story elements and what went into them getting started. But one of the funny things he says was he had actually forgotten a great deal about the original story of the game. Like he says, what had happened to Aerith and Tifa and their rival Sephiroth and Cloud. How can you forget what happens to Aerith? I think he was just talking half-mindedly at that point. But anyway, that was some funny insight. He also remarked that Midgar was much shorter than what he had remembered. He went back to replay it when Square Enix gave them the okay to do the remake. And he wants players to experience Midgar how he remembered, as a much deeper, expansive city. So they added layers, areas, and extra larger bits for that very reason. I thought that was interesting because when I put the game down for a year or a year plus and come back to it every time, I'm like, by the time I get out of Midgar, I'm like, I thought Midgar took longer than this. That happens to me too. And I've played the game over 10 times all the way through, so it still happens to me. Then they go to Kazushige Nojima. Can we just agree on something real quick? That this man is a damn rock star. Seriously, this dude is a rock star. And why is he a damn rock star, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. I'm going to get into it here for you real quick. So, Kazushige Nojima wrote the story for Final Fantasy VII. He created Cloud, Sephiroth, Aerith, Tifa, Barret, Red 13, Cid, Vincent, Yuffie, Shinra, President Shinra, Rufus, the Turks, Genova, the Cetra, Red 13's clan, Bugenhagen, all these things came from his mind. The genesis was his mind. It was from his mind is where this all came from. Final Fantasy VII is a great game all around. Artwork, music, but it's the story. It's the story that made this game timeless. Even the battle system, ATB, all that kind of stuff. Great. Fantastic. Materia system, awesome. It's all great, top to bottom. The story is what made this game timeless. Without Nojima, without this man right here, you've got Final Fantasy VII is Chrono Cross. I love Chrono Cross. You all know that. The story is a little convoluted, has great art, has great music, has great characters. The story is a little convoluted. So, without this man, Final Fantasy VII is Chrono Cross. So I just want to leave that there for you all real quick. So Nojima tells us that when he was first told that they were doing remake, he had asked how much of the dialogue he could alter, because originally it was meant for the player to read it, not be performed, which makes a lot of sense. If it were going to be performed, he wanted to change all of the dialogue, everything. So he wanted to go back and change every piece of dialogue and everything that was in the game. If it were going to be performed, he wanted to change all of it. So he went back and wrote in all of the little bits of dialogue and story that had been omitted in the original game because they didn't feel it necessary to go into great detail with the original simpler characters and character layout, which makes a lot of sense. So, this is not going to be just read now. It has to be performed. And the performers have been doing, the voice actors have been doing a great job because every time I hear dialogue or whatever, or moments or whatever, or how the characters interact with each other, I'm like, my God, they pulled this right out of my head. They pulled it right out of my head. So kudos to them for that. They are killing it on that respect. And Nojima goes on to say that they wanted to rework all the dialogue because the original text-based story would sound too explanatory. Like the dialogue was going to be too explanatory. They had to rewrite all that kind of stuff because a lot of parts were meant to just explain things, conjecture, or instructional stuff, or explaining story stuff. Now you can get that from the character interactions, how they talk to each other, how they speak to each other, inflections, performance, basically. And everything needs to sound more conversational. So they covered all of that. I thought that was great. It's great to get these insights into the heads of the creators of this amazing story of video game. That's why I like these little pieces they're doing, these behind or inside Final Fantasy VII Remake pieces, because it's fascinating to get inside the minds of the creators. I love stuff like this. Anytime you can get conversational sit-down pieces with these people about this stuff, documentary style, I love it. So one of the challenges facing the creative team was how to properly execute Cloud's inner monologue scenes, which I get what they're about to say here because, damn, when I first played through it, I was like, man, who's talking? What is going on right here? It was very confusing because in the original game, there were just black screens, and sometimes you didn't quite know where the voice was coming from. So yeah, I can jive with that because sometimes you're like, oh, is that Cloud? Is that supposed to be his mom? Is that Sephiroth talking? Is it Cloud again? Or is that Tifa talking to him from the here and now? Is that Tifa from back then talking? Or is this Aerith trying to talk to him from beyond? Or what's the deal? Or is it Genova talking to her? Or what's going on? Or is it the Zack? Who is this? And then unless it said the character's name or like the bright white letters to the faded white letters, the bright white letters, it's like, okay, this is somebody now. Unless it said their name. And the faded letters, it's like, okay, it's somebody in the past, or who is it? So, interesting they brought that up because, now we know that those little mind moments that Cloud has, there are fully realized scenes in Remake, at least for the most part they are that we've seen. Nojima also goes on to talk about, and I found this very interesting because I took it a different way when I would play through the game, that Cloud, since he was a child, has had a strong need to be accepted by people. Cloud felt that he was special, but as a child had no way to prove that, so he decided to join Soldier to prove it. I thought that was cool because, when Cloud was a kid, in that flashback scene, I thought he just had this urge to help people. He's like, I'm going to be in Soldier and be the best like Sephiroth. And I thought he wanted to do that because he wanted to help people and make a difference or whatever, and that was this heroic side or whatever. I never looked at it like Cloud felt like he was special and needed a way to prove it. That's interesting. So that's something that was probably cut or sacrificed for time or space or story or whatever in the original because they couldn't do it properly. Or maybe it could have been a mistranslation or anything to the Western version. I don't know. So I found that very interesting. He also talks about that for the remake's narrative, he goes much deeper into the psyche of the Cloud Strife character. He writes Cloud to slip from his cool facade here and there and makes him a little cringeworthy at times. Excellent. Excellent. I think it will be cool to see Cloud, see some cracks in the armor of this facade. He's not really who he's trying to pretend to be. It's not who he is. He goes into that whole need to be accepted by people or whatever. He's got to be the badass. He's got to be calm and in control at all times. It'll be interesting to see him slip in like a battle wartime situation, like he gets overwhelmed. People aren't used to seeing him do that, or he's trying too hard to cover up something. He comes off as like lame, like not interested, like way too much, or because that's how he responds to things he doesn't know the answer for. That was also explained in this, just not interested. Before I thought not interested was like I'm not interested. I don't want to hear about this. I don't care. I'm a jerk. I don't care. But apparently it's to cover for him not knowing something or whatever. Cool stuff. Nojima comments that since the characters look so real now, he had to up the detail in which he wrote them as opposed to when he wrote them over 23 years ago. They have to be more emotional and more relatable. I like that a lot. And his comments on Aerith were so interesting. For those of you who like watch this video, you kind of know what I'm getting ready to talk about. Nojima says that for the first third of her childhood, she was actually locked up in her room, basically just locked up in her room, which is why she values freedom so highly now. I thought that was cool because, of course, as a fan, you took it that her and her mom and Falna were on the run all the time. Now, this whole thing with her being locked up in her room, basically, for the first third of her childhood, this will be interesting. This will be really interesting to see how that plays out and what that actually means. They say she is curious and kind to people and really values just being alive. That's pretty cool. And that it kind of comes through in her kind of demeanor. She's a little weird. She's a little weird in Remake. She's a little weird. But she's quirky weird. I really like it. I really like the direction they're going with her. Like, she's special. She shouldn't be like everybody else. She shouldn't be a normal, cutesy, perky person. She should be a little weird. I like that a lot. They also say that they couldn't go into much detail about Aerith, and it was later revealed in an interview with one of the other producers on the project that they go into a major part of her backstory that up until now has never been told. But you could miss it. Does that mean possible side quests? Side quests with Aerith, and you find out the stuff about her past or something about her that you never knew or whatever. This is what I'm talking about side quests. I'll get into that a little bit later, but side quests that matter. I've talked about it before. Side quests that matter to the narrative and the plot of the story. I can't wait to get into that. Biggs, Wedge, and Jessie have become increasingly important to the story because they will help flesh out the story of Midgar, which makes sense because all three of them, that's their home. Also, it's the interactions with the three Avalanche members that changes Cloud's demeanor, changes Cloud, his mindset, who he is. That is so cool because it gives Jessie, Biggs, and Wedge weight, importance to the narrative and to the actual main character of the story. So there's a shot of Cloud from one of the trailers. I'm trying to remember which trailer it was. That one right, that shot of Cloud right there. Okay, so he has this look, this blank look, like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. What have I done? These people relied on me and I totally let them down. What the hell have I done? These people I cared about and they cared about me and looked to me to protect them and make a difference. They're gone because I'm not who I said I was, because I can't do this. You know what I mean? That is so cool. That is awesome, man. I love what they're all the little intricate things they're doing with the story in this. Awesome. The performances, the animations, all that kind of stuff, man. It is making this just be on another level. This is on another level, people. So the stuff with Biggs, Wedge, and Jessie, I really like that. I like that they're using it. I mean, you're going to get some side quests most likely with the three of them. You learn more about them, where they're from, who they are, what they're about, what makes them tick, what they like, what they don't like, things like that. So they can tear your heart out. Tear your heart out about 75% of the way through this game. The main storyline is the same, but many scenes have been added to help flesh out the characters and the story. And so that's pretty much something we already knew. So, and how about, there was a bunch of really cool music in this thing. They were talking over it, so it's hard to get really good audio. But they had a couple of themes from the game that we have not heard the remake versions of yet. And they were in there. There was this beautiful rendition of Aerith's theme. Play it right now for you. What little bit doesn't have talking over it? Right here. Damn. That is really heartfelt. The music in this game is so good. Every little piece of music is done the right way. It's just that damn good, people. All right, now here's where we break it down. We're about to break down some of the new stuff that I found in the some of the footage they showed today. Kind of what it is and where it's going and what it all means. Of course, this is the childhood promise scene between Cloud and Tifa. We've seen this, but this is just such a beautiful shot. I mean, you can see the aging on the wood of the well right here, and then all the mountains, Mountain Nibel here in the background, and then of course some of the iconic architecture from Nibelheim here, and that leads into a new scene right here with Cloud having some dialogue with Tifa. Very cool. So this is the slums here. So I don't know what's going on, but this is just a new scene. This almost looks, this is definitely in game. You can see because she looks a little stiff here, standing a little stiff. Maybe it's just her posture, I don't know. But Cloud's got 2 magic materials in there. And dude, her like gauntlet on her left arm looks super killer. I mean, that's dope, man. Almost looks like she has like a cyborg arm or something. I like it. That's cool. And honestly, this looks like it could be some kind of like side quest or something like that, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. Looks like the beginning of like a side quest or maybe just some kind of random new area of the game. New shot here. This is after they jump off the train. I'm assuming this is after they jump off the train once their IDs have been seen because they got these red lights all down through here. And then you've got these other like drones that we saw on the train. Yeah, because this is when they were on the train. These are the same type of drones that were trying to come after them, that Tifa threw one of them out of a window. And of course you can knock all these over, as you know from the demo. We just plow through all this stuff. So here's a cool shot outside of 7th Heaven. Cloud and Tifa talking. Daytime. Random people in the background here. And in the background, this might be when you get back from one of the missions. That Wedge back there? Yeah, it's Wedge and Jesse, I think. Barrett walking around. There's the jukebox back there. This right here. This is one of the major things I saw that I loved this. Aerith looks dirty. She's been through some stuff. She was trying to get Marlene to safety. And look in the background. The area around her house is just obliterated. Or does she even make it back to her house? Is this her house? Yeah, I guess this is her house. I was thinking maybe they changed that in the story. Yeah, I don't know. Is this her house? I don't know. Of course, you've got Sing here. What does that say right there? No, you know what? This is probably 7th Heaven. This is probably 7th Heaven. Yeah, because there's the chalkboard back there. So she doesn't make it back to her house. She doesn't make it back to... So she must cut a deal with Sing to let them drop off Marlene at her house. So I guess you don't run from them. But yeah, she's all dirty and filthy here. And Marlene, oh, little Marlene. Look, she's scared. Sing, he's got some troops with him. But yeah, this is Sector 7. This is the slums of Sector 7 out here, just ravaged. I love how Aerith looks like stoic here. You know what I mean? She just looks like she knows the jig is up. She knows she's not going to get out. She's like, okay, look, just let the kid go back to my house. I'll come with you, right? I dig it. I really dig. You know what? I'm really digging everything I'm seeing about Aerith's character in this game. I love it. I love it. I love it. More cool Avalanche stuff here. Setting a bomb over here. Or they're either setting a bomb or they're rigging something over here on this. Either way, I think Biggs is responsible for it, because watch this right here. He's the first one through. He's wiping everything away. And then he does this, he's looking in, and he does this little winking gun. Yeah, he's got this little winking a gun he does right here. See that? That's cool. He's like, yeah, let's go this way, guys. I got you. That's cool. I like that. A little personality there from Biggs. I like that a lot. This is a great shot of Barrett right here. This looks like it's out of Resident Evil or something. Y'all feel me on that? Look at that. This looks like it could be a shot out of Resident Evil with the lighting and everything. And this is probably, yeah, this is their escape. I'm assuming this is the escape after the first bombing run. They're arguing about something, maybe how to get back somewhere, trying to find the train station. I don't know, but yeah, just more great stuff. Just more great stuff. And then, of course, they get home. Well, I think this is all probably Chapter 2 stuff. Cloud, of course, has the flower on his chest. Everybody celebrates. That's my dude right there, Biggs. Telling y'all, man, Biggs is he's gonna be clutch in this game. He's gonna be clutch. He's gonna do some. All three Avalanche members are gonna be doing some cool stuff, I think. There's Tifa with the command and magic materia. I like right here just subtle little stuff like you see the helicopter out here, or is that a helicopter or a heligunner? I can't tell. But like Cloud right here grabs Tifa and pulls her in. Guy's arm around her, pulls her into safety. Like watching around the edge, looking for that gun. Of course, we've seen this. We've seen the traversing the slums. We've seen this little bit right here. But this we haven't seen. This is another cool little part. Nojima talked about this in the interview. He said there's a nice little part where Tifa and Cloud, like, basically she finds Cloud like an apartment or a flat there in the Midgar slums, and it's in the same building that she lives in. So this is his scene where he gets his apartment or whatever. She's like, hey, boy. And so we've seen this part, this Cloud sitting on the bed in that one trailer. And she's like, this isn't what I thought of when I said I might need your help all those years ago, or something like, I'm paraphrasing, with something like that. Really cool. And then right here, Cloud getting away from all the troops on the way out from the bombing. And this right here is cool. This is the shot of Jesse explaining to Cloud how the train systems work and stuff as you're going down from Midgar and going to the different slums and your transportation. So if I'm looking at this, and I'm thinking there's different ways to get around Midgar in the game, you might access a map similar to this when you're going to different sections of Midgar in the game. I think that would be cool. And then, of course, right here, Aerith doing her thing, looking badass. There's Red 13 doing a backflip. Blow. There's Tifa. So you got Tifa, Aerith, and Red 13. This must be during the escape from Shinra Tower. There's the 100 Gunner. You'll have to fight him during the escape. Now, see, this right here is where I'm thinking that, and other people have been thinking too, that summons aren't just limited to boss fights and big battles. You're fighting just a random sweeper here. Conditions being met in battle must mean that you must have certain gauges full and certain amount of this or that or whatever to be able to summon. So because you got Ifrit here fighting a sweeper, and it doesn't seem all that necessary, really. So that was pretty much all the new footage and stuff. Really cool stuff. It was really awesome diving into that behind the scenes stuff and getting in the minds of the creators on this. I'm super excited for the next one because I think they're probably going to do one talking about how materia works and how different things that we haven't seen work yet, and explaining that a little bit. So I'm super pumped. Side quests that matter. That's awesome. From what I saw in this interview, I'm kind of thinking that you're going to have some side quests that are optional, not necessary to finish the game or get through the game, where you can explore more in depth by going with characters on different side quests, their history, their backstory, what makes them tick. And as you find out more about that character, you find out about more of the world of Final Fantasy VII as it pertains to what revolves around that character. When you're doing the Aerith, if you do an Aerith side story and you find out some more stuff about her that hasn't been talked about up to this point, as they said in the interviews, you might find out more about Icicle Inn area. You might find out more about different areas of the world that she's been to and been in captivity, or more about her relationship with Sang. And they've known each other since they were much younger and all this other kind of stuff. So just fascinating stuff. I think every character is going to have a major side story or two that you can explore with them, learn more about them. As we get closer to the release of this game, which we're now just over a couple of weeks away, they're really driving home the point and the importance of character relationships in the game. This is something they have not been talking about, but now they're starting to talk about it. Cloud's relationships with the other characters in the game and how they change by the end of the game and how they're important. If y'all have noticed, they're just now starting to talk about this. And I'm excited to see where this goes. Anyway, if you all liked the video, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Smash that like button. Work over that like button. Of course, the more the video gets liked, the more it shows up and more people see it, and the bigger community we can start building here. So I really appreciate all the love and support so far. I am excited about getting my hands on this game finally. I've got some other things in the works. I got some other videos I'm currently editing. I wanted to get this one out. So you all stay safe, stay cool, and I will see you all in the next video. Be good to each other and keep rocking.